Hello, puppies and kittens. Welcome to another episode of reading of the Book of Mormon, also John's Myth. I saw that in a bumper sticker in Salt Lake City. Thought it was hilarious, so I'm going to keep using that name. We have with us once again Brian Dalton and David Fitzgerald, both of whom have some background in ridiculing the Book of Mormon. Brian has, of course, made a series of videos about his experience as a foreman, which is a former Mormon, and David Fitzgerald. What was the name of your book? On there you go.
Mormons.
Yeah. There you go. And we have one of my patrons, Joseph Thompson, also a former Mormon, who wanted to speak in about this. We are apparently missing today Jimmy Snow, which is sad because he, in the last episode or two, has shown himself to be kind of quite the rock star on this topic. So I will make sure to communicate with him that I want to see him here next week if it's at all possible, because there was a whole lot of information coming from him, more than most Mormons seem to know. And surprisingly, there was a poll that I saw recently that was talking about levels of like biblical knowledge that different groups had, and the atheists scored top of the list.
What a shock! What a shock!
I know. So atheists know more about the Bible than Christians, and there was a runner-up. The second most knowledgeable on the Bible was Jewish. So Jewish people know more about the Bible than Christians, and of the quote-unquote Christian, and I know that there's some discussion over whether they are Christian or not, the Mormons knew more about the Bible than other Christian denominations, and I thought that was interesting. But the Mormons in my personal life, in my family and so forth, they don't even know the Book of Mormon.
Huh.
Yeah, it seems. I mean, they've read it, and they tell me to read it. And it's like when Christians tell you that you if you read the Bible you'll become Christian, when exactly the opposite seems to be the norm.
And now we're on a podcast doing just that, just like that.
Yeah, and for everything that I read, I mean, it's just like when I read the Bible, and in fact, just when I read the Quran or when I read the Bhagavad Gita, I get the same impression. How the hell did anybody ever read this and come to believe it?
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, where are we starting at? We did first Nephi, we did second Nephi, yes?
It's chapter 3.
Okay, so now we are at Jacob. Okay, so am I reading this correctly? All right, so I'm on Jacob chapter 1. Let's see if I can expand that.
Wait. Jacob. No, wait. What?
Okay, am I not?
Nope. First Nephi,
okay.
chapter 3.
Oh, okay. So we did first Nephi, and now there was gotcha.
Yeah.
Let the cringe begin, everyone.
Let the cringe begin.
Well, it is cringy, so I don't know how anyone can read this and believe in all this nonsense anyway.
Okay, so in fact, I'm still on first Nephi, chapter 3 of first Nephi. Okay,
exactly.
Well, when they call it first Nephi and second Nephi, it just kind of gives me the impression that we've just already read this. All right, sorry. Cat, shut up.
And what are the odds that it should start with the words, and it came to pass?
Yep. Yeah.
It's that chapter, right?
Yes.
And it came to pass that I, Nephi, returned from speaking with the Lord to the tent of my father. And it came to pass that he spake to me, saying, Behold, I have dreamed a dream in the which.
Yes.
I have dreamed a dream in the which. I have dreamed a dream.
Yes, his famous "I have dreamed a dream" speech. Yes.
I think anything you dream is a dream. Isn't it?
That's usually how it works. Yeah.
David, technically, I think it's known as the I have dreamed a dream in the which
In the witch.
But I mean, what's with the there? I mean, in which, right? In which we know we were talking about the dream, right? In the which?
Yeah, there was some other
Doesn't
weird
make
grammar
sense.
we had floating around in the chapters 1 and 2 already.
It's almost as if it's somebody in the 19th century pretending to speak King's English.
Almost. Very likely. Oh, and I have to point out again, these are the modern edited updates. If you can get your hands on an original Book of Mormon from the 1830s, holy crap, it's even more cornpone, goofy John Boy English.
How do the Mormons account for that?
Well, he was just translating, so therefore, the original was perfect, of course, in every single way because it came straight from heaven. But
wait, so we copied and corrupted, and so what everybody has in the bookshelf.
Oh no. He's not perfect. He's just forgiven, But yeah, he did the best job he could, and they don't make a big fuss over the fact that they've had to iron out the wrinkles in his prose, but yeah, nonetheless, they did, and they had to. And
God has never been a good writer anyway. We all know that.
It's just sad that we realize
terrible communicator. Really, the worst.
I've read some of his most popular works, and they have all sucked. And they're all written entirely differently.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read anything by Neil Gaiman, you can kind of tell this is Neil Gaiman, right? I mean, you read anything by Stephen King, you get a Stephen King feel to it. But everything God writes,
it's horrible.
Even when you read just one book that God writes, it seems like it was written by a bunch of different people.
Funny how that is.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Okay, speaking of that, one thing I kept forgetting to do in the last 2 chapters is point out all the places where they are clearly lifting lines from books in the New Testament, which happens throughout our little book here. As they leap out to me, I'll try to chime in, but
with the same errors that the King James translators made, by the way.
Bingo. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
If I had to read the Book of Mormon with y'all is so much better option than if I just picked up the book itself, and I would have absolutely no idea.
You can't get through it. No one can get through it. I mean, even Mormons can't get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it came to pass that he spake to me, saying, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream. In the which the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brethren shall return to Jerusalem." And then you say, well, that's interesting, but that was a dream, so that doesn't mean anything. Go back. Why the hell do people think that dreams are like, God talking to them? I mean, I can tell you some of the dreams I had. I would never imagine this. This is not God speaking to me.
Yeah.
By the way, I have noted in my book from when I was a Mormon that this from where they were would be about a 12 to 14 day trip. So God's omniscience is just so poor. He knew you were going to have to go back to this whole Laban adventure, but apparently let them get all the way out and then
wait.
Wait. We left the oven on.
Yeah.
It's for character building. We
forgot Bob.
Okay. Let's see. For behold, Laban hath the record of the Jews. Oh, that's what we forgot. We forgot the record of the Jews.
Yeah.
And also a genealogy of my forefathers. Got to get the family album. And they are engraven upon plates of brass. Oh, that's going to be heavy.
Like you do.
Well, that's just the medium they had to work with at that time.
Yeah.
And wherefore the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brothers should go unto the house of Laban and seek the records and bring them hither into the wilderness. So basically all of that means, I forgot. We got to go back and get the family album.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I'm going to stop there just for a moment because we have a crap ton of questions and
so
comments
soon
that I have already. Sorry, so I'm gonna jump into those real quick. So Walker Bow, okay. There's an H on it, makes me want to say Walker Boy, but anyway. I always wondered how the Book of Mormon apologists explain how a Hebrew speaker in 600 BCE wouldn't be saying Red Sea, but I cannot read whatever that is.
Yeah.
Something Hebrew people in that century would say,
Yeah.
which would have translated as Reed Sea.
Yeah.
Okay? Probably a fair point. I don't know.
Also, the fact that last chapter we had that river named after the sun, which doesn't exist and apparently never did exist even in 600 BC. But
yeah,
what you gonna do?
So then the next comment is, I see you're getting hammered with queries, but I was wondering how No Man Knows My History by Fawn Brody has aged. It's one of my favorite books.
It's
well,
excellent.
Very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's one I don't know, and now I feel like I should.
It's pretty awesome.
Biography of Joseph Smith.
Okay. Very good. All right. So next one is... This is RN, you apparently got the title wrong. This is episode 3, not 2. Did it really? Okay, I'll correct that. This is episode 2?
3.
This is episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. Episode 3, chapter 3. That's right.
But somewhere it says 2. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
the title on YouTube says 2.
Okay, I'll go fix it. All right. So then and Walker Bow says again, how do Book of Mormon apologists explain Zedekiah being in power after the city is already sacked? Lehi prophecy for events said that already happened.
We're going to have more than one anachronism in this series. I assure you. Even in this chapter coming up, we're going to have some fun facts like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they're coming in almost faster than I can read them now. Okay, so then Anton Gomez, 20 Mexican pesos. Thank you very much. How long is the Book of Mormon?
Too long.
Yeah, I don't actually know because I don't have a physical book. I do. It's on my bookshelf over there somewhere, but
Hold on. Let me grab my original.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I got one right here. Let's see. If you don't count the indexes, it looks like it's coming in right at 531 pages.
I believe the proper English would be indices.
Indices. Yes. In the which.
In my original, my replica of the original, it's 588 pages.
Oh, okay. So that's bad. That's even longer than my book. Okay, so
in mine it's 531 pages.
There we go. A discrepancy. And then we have that was the super chat for $20, and then we have they're still coming in. Walker Boy says again, how is Laban in power? I mean, why didn't he get exiled with the rest of the rulers? Walker Boy, do you want to be on the show?
You ask a lot of questions, see? Yeah.
I think I would kind of like you to be on the show. Share an email address with like gonna go for it, and we'll see if we can bring you in here. Okay, and then next one is David. I cannot even attempt that name. Vilhoidenwait. Why would you need a genealogy if you get to choose your family before you're born? And how does everyone choosing their family before they're born? How's that working out?
How does that even work? Right.
Oh, it's like I chose to have a crazy mother and a good dad, so yeah.
Who out there would choose the family they have now if they could choose?
Yeah.
Very few people.
Yeah.
I can only think of exceptions.
Weird how every single point they bring up in this book spawns so many questions.
Mm-hmm. And then the next one I have here is Cody's Lab re-uploaded. Says, this comment is for R and Ra. A Spanish artist, Mario Lanzas, has dedicated his latest video about timeline of evolution of life to you. Please watch it, Arn. Oh, thank you very much.
Nice.
I need to make a note of that. Mario Lanzas, Spanish artist, has dedicated his latest video. Okay, I will look that up in a moment. I just need to make a note about it. There, now I can move on. Thank you for that. And then the last one, Resident of the Abyss. Doesn't Mormonism have Judaism integrated into it? Well, logically, I mean,
in the same way that Christianity has Judaism integrated into it, you could say, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, and both of them separately, and this is kind of interesting, both of them have Zoroastrianism integrated into them, though not in the same way.
Yeah.
So Judaism took certain inspiration from Zoroastrianism, and Christianity reached back past Judaism to take something else that the Jews didn't adopt. Okay. And now one more has just popped up. M. Ensign Science. Going through my deconversion after 37 years in the Mormon faith. Thank you for all the rest of this. Thank you for all of this free therapy. So, so guys, these lessons are therapeutic. How do you feel about that?
Actually, I charge $150 an hour.
I do it for free, so.
Oh, well.
Okay. All right. So now I'm down to verse 3.
4.
No,
4.
that's 4.
Yeah.
Okay, wherefore. I love that. Wherefore the Lord hath commanded me, and bring them back. Yeah, so we forgot. So we're on 5 now. I need
4.
Wherefore the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brothers should go unto the house of Laban to seek the records and bring them down hither into the wilderness. Yeah, that was part of the summary of, hey, we forgot our important papers. We gotta go back.
I stand corrected. I was distracted by the engraving on brass. Sorry.
No problem. And verse 5, and now behold, thy brothers murmur.
Uh-oh.
Those murmurers. Saying, it is a hard thing which I have required of them, but behold, I have not required it of them, but it is a commandment of the Lord. Hold on.
That one doesn't make sense at all.
It's not me saying this. It's the big guy upstairs.
Okay, just hey, let me summarize what we've got up to this point. Hey, I had a dream or a vision. I can't remember whatever the fuck it was. Hey, I decided to change our religion, and all that stuff you were going to inherit because we're really rich, we're just going to walk away from that. We're going to leave our billions of dollars of military equipment in Afghanistan. We're just going to walk away for no reason. So you don't get an inheritance, and instead what you do is you get to walk around on foot as we go off into the wilderness because I've decided to lose my mind in zealotry. And
we forgot.
It took 2 weeks to remember because you said it was a 14-day journey.
Yeah.
Right. So they're out. Oh, I forgot. We got to go back in.
We have to go back for that. Yeah.
We got to go back and get the family album. A 2-week walk because you forgot the fucking papers. That's what the story is. Oh, and it was a dream that came to him that said, "Hey, you forgot your paperwork." Yeah. Okay, let me go back and do that. It's this. That's what the boys are murmuring about.
Sure.
Our idiot dad let us wander into the wilderness for 2 weeks before he realized that he forgot his important papers.
Honestly, I think we'd all be murmuring at that time.
You didn't bring your ID? I mean, that's essentially the summary of this, right? I mean, have you ever gone to like a club or something and somebody says, "Oh, I forgot my ID. Why? I didn't think I would need it."
I forgot my.
That's not what we're reading right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I got the context of this right. And Joseph Smith wrote this story, and they ventured on for 2 weeks, realized they forgot his ID, and had to go back.
Yeah. And that's how it came to pass.
This is a holy book.
And will come to pass.
And by the way, let's not forget we're talking about an omnipotent being, so he could literally snap his fingers and poof, they've got their scriptures, they've got their genealogies.
Where are all those angels to help him in his omnipotence anyway?
Have you noticed that on any given episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Q would have done more than God? I mean, just for giggles. So anyway, therefore go, my son, and thou shalt be favored of the Lord, because thou hast not murmured. In other words, shut up and go get your ID.
Yeah.
Ready for this? And it came to pass that I, Nephi, because we forgot who was talking, said unto my father, I will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded. For I know that the Lord giveth no commandments unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them, that they may accomplish the thing which he commanded them.
Who talks like that?
That verse, by the way, that
especially
verse,
since it contradicts the whole thing about forgetting his ID.
What were you saying, Brian?
within the church, that verse is probably one of the most important verses that's quoted over and over and over again. And every Sunday you hear that verse. It's
Because anytime something doesn't make sense, that's the go-to to explain it.
Well, they just want you to know that what you can do. If the Lord's commanded it, you can do it. He's set a way for you to be able to accomplish it. So don't think it can't be done.
Oh, well, that kind of reminds me of that other one where they say, God never burdens anyone with something they cannot bear.
Right.
Except when everybody dies from not being able to bear it.
Yeah, like I vaguely remember when I was 14, this lady was saying that her friend was praying to her God for a trial. Her God gave her cancer, and she prayed to him, said, "Thank you for the cancer," basically. And a year later, she died.
What? She got her wish. It is a miracle.
Yeah, I know that this is just going to be a terrible sidetrack to get into this at all, but just the way people justify prayer. I remember in 1993, there was a news story about a tornado that came through Iowa, and it's headed toward this house, and the tornado lifted off the ground and skipped over the house. And all these people in the town, what there was of the town, because it's a farming community, all hustled together to the strongest building they could. They all get into the church. The tornado's coming into the town. It comes to another house, and again, lifted off the ground, missed the house, and touched down again on the other side of the house. The tornado skipped over two houses, did no damage to either of those houses, and continues on into town. Now everybody's assembled in the church. The only thing the tornado hit was the church.
Ooh.
And it killed everybody, including the owners of the two houses that it spit, that it skipped over. There were 6 people who survived, and they thanked God for sparing them. And
That's just messed up.
Just try to, all your friends and family are dead
in the church.
Right, in the church, in the one place that was supposed to save them, and you're thanking God for what? Killing all your neighbors? Are you thanking God for destroying your house? Or because it looked to me like it wasn't like God necessarily meant to spare anybody. It looked to me like God went bowling for Christians and got nearly all of them.
Yeah.
But this is how people justify this kind of stuff. Yeah. It makes no sense to me.
Well,
I guess
to bring it slightly back to this whole verse of God will not give you what you can't, he'll give you the ability to do it. It's very subtle victim blaming, really, because that means if you didn't do it, well, hey, you must not have enough faith, because God gives you the ability to get through whatever he commands you to do. So,
right.
Can't be God's fault. Whose fault could it be?
Yeah, I'm going to read a couple more of these questions that just came up. Rasmus Lindegard for 50 Danish kroner says, and I've been putting off reading the Book of Mormon because I thought it would be boring.
I don't blame you. I don't blame
try
you
this at home.
whatsoever.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah, and then there's another one, super chat. Rasmus Lindegard again. No, because somebody else just tapped in another question. Says David Vilhoen again says, you may not have an inheritance, but you're going to get your own freaking planet. So stop murmuring. Duh.
Yeah.
And then Nathaniel Gray says $2. Glad God got a 7-10 split. That's pretty much how I read it.
That was a good one.
Okay, so getting back into this verse. And I, Nephi, and my brethren took our journey in the wilderness with our tents to go up to the land of Jerusalem. And it came to pass, when we had gone up to the land of Jerusalem, I and my brethren did consult one with another. That's kind of what consult means, right? And we cast lots. Who of us should go into the house of Laban? And it came to pass. Okay, I don't need a silly voice for this. And it came to pass that the lot fell upon Laman. And Laman went into the house of Laban, and he talked with him as he sat in his house. These are details that are important.
Very critical.
We can't know whether Cain's wife already lived in the land of Nod or was she his freaking sister, but we can know that that Laman sat in Laban's house, because that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And he desired of Laban the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, which contained the genealogy of my father. And behold, it came to pass that Laban was angry and thrust him out from his presence, and he would not that he should have the records, and he would not that he should have the records. Nobody ever talked like that, right?
Okay, maybe King James version, but it's very.
Yeah. But I tend to think even King James was in, and he would not that he should have the records. That's not a sentence. You wouldn't find that in the King James version either.
Not even Shakespeare would write this stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's Shakespeare. He's kind of exceptional. Frankly,
I'm just saying that not even Shakespeare would even tolerate this. It would probably burn his eyes just reading this. So.
Okay.
We got some good violence coming up. We should power through. Yeah.
Yep. Wherefore he said unto him, behold, thou art a robber, and I will slay thee. Okay. But Laman fled out of his presence. I like how you can flee out of a presence. And told the things which Laban had done unto us. Did Laban did them unto you, or he told them unto you? And we began to be exceedingly sorrowful. We began to be exceedingly sorrowful. I guess something interrupted that when you got there. And my brethren were about to return unto my father into the wilderness. But behold, I said unto them that as the Lord liveth, and as we live, we will not go down unto our father in the wilderness until we have accomplished the thing which the Lord hath commanded us.
Yeah, you chicken shits. Come on. Suck it up.
So I'm going to go present the Book of Mormon to the warlord who shoots people in the face.
Did they even ever get around to why Laban didn't want to give the family genealogy to these guys? Because it seems like that's his job, I guess, if he's the keeper of the genealogy. I don't know.
What? No, I'm going to keep your family photo album.
What kind of market is there for stolen brass engravings of family genealogies anyway? It's like, I don't know.
It's kind of somebody else's genealogy.
I'm not quite sure what the problem was with old Laban, but
So wherefore, let us be faithful in keeping the commandments of the Lord. Therefore, wherefore and therefore in the same sentence essentially. Therefore, let us go down to the land of our fathers' inheritance. For behold, he left gold and silver and all manner of riches. And all this he hath done because of the commandments of the Lord. So let me
so
get
that stuff's just sitting there. Is that what
You
we're
just-
doing?
You just left a fortune in gold
Yeah.
lying around in the desert for now a month.
Yep.
Okay. For he knew that Jerusalem must be destroyed because of the wickedness of the people.
It was a dream
God's
he
chosen.
dreamed. It was a dream he dreamed. Sorry. That's how he knew.
For behold, how many beholdings do we have?
Yeah.
For they have rejected the word of the prophets. Prophets? I must have missed something because now there's prophets involved.
Right. And funny thing is that you've rejected the words of the prophet. That's a biblical lift right there from that hasn't been written yet anyway. So
yeah. Wherefore, if my father should dwell in the land after he hath been commanded to flee out of the land, behold, behold again.
Yeah.
He would also perish. Wherefore, again, it must needs be.
It must needs be. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to imagine this guy from the early 1800s. He speaks my language and he's writing this shit this way. Wherefore it must needs be that he Sorry, this is like when somebody tries to do a British accent and they come out sounding like Dick Van Dyke.
Yep. Yep.
This is the way that I'm reading this. Okay. Wherefore it must needs be that he flee out of the... Look how much redundancy there is in this one verse.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah. I think you meant behold.
Or it came to pass.
No, I didn't mean behold because that's the very next thing he says. And behold, it is wisdom in God that we should obtain these records, our fucking ID, that we may preserve unto our children the language of our fathers. Well, you're not preserving the language of your father very well, are you?
Unless it's all begat,
Because these old Jewish people didn't speak, what was it, 16th century English. Okay, and also that we may preserve unto them the words which have been spoken by the mouth. Fortunately, spoken
by the mouth.
Spoken by the. It really sounds like it was spoken from another orifice up to this point. Of all the holy prophets which have been delivered unto them by the Spirit and power of God since the world began, even down unto this present time. Even down.
Time out. There's so much to unwrap just in that verse right there.
I'm getting that impression.
Yeah.
I've just stumbled through a whole bunch of weed and Brecken and everything. It's time to look back and say, what the hell did I just walk through?
So, Brian, remind me, what year are we talking about that this is meant to have happened? Like 600 BC or thereabouts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what prophets is he talking about? For starters, and the Spirit of God. It's like that's getting into Holy Spirit territory, and that's still about 600 years from being invented. So, gotta watch that too.
It's already contradicting itself. So.
And even down to this present time, what time are we talking about? Narrator, I thought this is your time. I thought this is Nephi writing all this. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So now getting to verse 21, and yet I bet there's more. there has to be more of all the mess, all the muck that I've just stumped through.
Yeah.
With all these beholds, wherefores, and down unto, and needs must be,
Must
and all
needs.
this.
Oh, you're
Must
gonna have
needs
a good time with these ones. So,
oh, and here we come back to a classic favorite. And it came to pass.
We really do need a counter in the corner for all that.
I remember commenting that the Quran was so very poorly written. It was written so badly. When you compare the Quran to the Bible, it was the Quran had become the only book I had ever read that made the Bible look good by comparison. And the Book of Mormon has now beaten it already.
Wow.
The Book of Mormon is written so much worse than the Quran. That's impressive.
Well, it's fan fiction, so
are you actually complimenting the Book of Mormon?
No, it's impressive that it's somehow worse than the Quran. Now we're just at the very beginning. I don't know if it's going to be as evil as the Quran.
Oh, we'll get
Let's
there.
find out.
But it seems
Yeah,
to
we'll
be,
get there. You're in.
it seems to
quite
be
a
every
ride.
bit as stupid.
Continue this chapter and we'll find out.
Okay, and it came to pass that after this manner of language, yet there's a manner of language, did I persuade my brethren that they might be faithful in keeping the commandments of God. And it came to pass that we went down to the land of our inheritance, and we did gather together our gold and our silver and our precious things. Where do they live that you can just leave this lying around?
This is such a good question. Such a good question. Yeah.
Okay. And after we had gathered these things together, because they're not even gathered, are they? They left a treasure hoard.
Yeah.
Strewn about.
I'm glad they told us that Laban was sitting in his chair. Got the important details, but yeah, this we have no idea.
I'm sure it was in the family safe.
Yeah.
So you left the tents. You left the fortune.
Gold,
you
silver.
left the family records. This is a guy who would go down to the corner. This is a guy who would go to the store and forget to bring the car with him.
By the way, why are they taking all the treasure to a land where there's no commerce? They're going to have to be building their own thing anyway. And apparently when they get to this new land, there is every manner of metal around that they can refine and dig up and turn into swords and all manner of stuff. The whole thing is just so silly.
Yeah. And it's like, why did they leave it in the first place again? We had to flee Jerusalem because it was going to be destroyed, but 4 weeks later, maybe since we're back and all.
The last thing you need during interstate travel is money.
Well, this is much more than interstate. This is transatlantic. Yeah, this is transatlantic.
You're right. I meant to say international, and because just international travel is just like famously ridiculously expensive, but not for these people.
Well, and we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're still at the Red Sea. Yeah, sorry, Reed Sea.
Reed Sea. Yeah.
And after we had gathered these things together, we went up again into the house of Laban, and it came to pass.
Oh my goodness.
That when we went in unto Laban.
Okay, I gotta stop you right there because that phrase means something very different in biblical Hebrew than
that meant something different to me.
That meant something very different.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can understand why Laban was so upset. It now makes sense why he had to go out from his presence.
Oh my God.
He was indeed inside his presence.
Inside his presence, yes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and the very next line is, and desired him.
I mean,
Oh
if
my
they're-
goodness, this
if they're
blasphemy
into
writes
that,
itself.
then okay.
That he would give unto us the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, for which we would give unto him our gold and our silver and all our precious things. Look, just sell me back my own ID.
Right? Or you know what? We'll bring in our own sheet of brass and engrave it ourselves. You know, you can keep
It's
your
not like these
brass.
people didn't rehearse their entire genealogy, right?
Yeah,
wait,
there's
wait.
that too.
Wait, I did just recently read the comparison between, I think it was Matthew and Luke, and no,
Yeah.
they didn't rehearse these very well at all.
Yeah, those
Those
that's a whole
genealogies don't match like at
They don't
all.
even have the same number of generations, let alone the same names. Yeah. Oh, don't get me
Okay.
started on that one. Don't get me started on that one. Yeah.
I feel, and I must confess, I feel that I may be irreverent.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, at least I can do my genealogy correctly.
All right, let me see if I can be more reverent. And it came to
Get used to it.
Oh, that's
Get used
impossible.
to it.
I tried that when Laban saw our property, and that it was exceedingly great. Are we still on sexual innuendos here?
Yeah.
He did lust after it.
Uh-huh.
How do you like my exceedingly great property?
What happened
You
next?
know, I actually remember one time during Sunday school when
Yes.
I had to read that, I actually laughed and I remember I got removed from the class. So,
I'm having entirely too much fun reading this stupid thing.
well, I'm glad that you are.
Yeah. I'm sure if I was reading it just by myself, I wouldn't have anybody to share this joy with. So I understand why the Mormons want to share this with everybody.
Here's the next line. In so much that
He thrust us out.
I was in a band called Thrush.
Oh, nice.
Thrust when I was in my teens. We all liked that line. That name, Thrush.
Yeah, my band was Brillo Tampon.
We wore very tight pants.
I swear, I can't understand how these Mormons can read this and think it's the one true word of God.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can continue this. And sent his servants to slay us, that he might obtain our property. Okay, so you went to him to give him your property in exchange for your own ID.
Yeah.
That is of no value to him. So you're going to give him
Right.
a fortune for a thing, and he's keeping a thing he doesn't need.
But he's so evil. This is how evil he is. Yeah. Yep.
He's going to kill you because you want your documents back. Okay.
He's going to kill you for the things you were willing to give him earlier. Yeah. Just scant moments ago.
Just for taking out the garbage that he doesn't need in his house.
This is the thing. This is the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it came to pass that we did flee before the servants of Laban, and we were obliged to leave behind our property,
Oh, no.
and it fell into the hands of Laban. Wait, it fell into the hands of the guy who was already holding it. Okay.
No, yeah, not Laban. Laban. Yeah.
Laban.
Laban.
Oh, wait. Am I getting these confused?
You're getting confused.
You
The
were
servants of
running-
Laban. The
Laban
servants of Laban
had
grabbed
it.
the treasure. Now it's in the hands of Laban, who they'd already
Oh, the
offered it to
treasure.
him.
The
Yeah.
treasure is now in the hands of Laban. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
the documents were in his hands, and now the treasure is in his hands too.
I'm not sure what's happened to the documents at this point, honestly.
And they're still there, apparently.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he said,
yeah.
"No, this is worthless junk to me, but I'm not going to give it to you. You want to give me a
Exactly.
fortune for it? I will kill you and steal your fortune."
Bingo. Now we're caught up. Yes. That is our situation we find ourselves in this story.
Okay, I am changing the name of this series to Joseph's Myth. And it came to pass that we fled into the wilderness, and the servants of Laban did not overtake us, and we hid ourselves in the cavity of a rock.
Well, okay.
And it came to pass that Laman was angry with me, and also with my father, and also Lemuel, because we were all so stupid. For he hearkened unto the words of Laman. Wherefore Laman and Lemuel did speak many hard words unto us, their younger brothers, and they did smite us even with a rod. Sorry, quick summary. Hey, let's just leave all our shit and wander off in the wilderness for whatever reason forever, and then we're gone 2 weeks. Oops, I forgot my ID. We have to go back. Oops, he won't give us our ID back. Let's go get our gold, our fortune that we left strewn about the desert, and gather it all up. Funny thing, in a month, nobody's picked up any of our goods. Let's go offer it to buy our ID back from the guy who doesn't need to have it. He wants us. Right. He wants to kill us to have it. He won't give us the document that he doesn't need. He wants to kill us for it instead. That makes a whole lot of fucking sense. Yeah. We have to go hide behind a rock, and then my older brothers start hitting me with a stick and calling me stupid. Yeah, that part makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And it came to pass that as they smote us with a rod, behold.
Smote us with a rod. Oh, my.
Stupid. Oh, look, an angel. Behold, an angel of the Lord came and stood before them, and he spake to them, saying, why do you smite your younger brother with a rod? No.
God.
Hold on. Know ye not that the Lord hath chosen him to be a ruler over you? And this because of your iniquities?
Obviously not.
Know ye not.
Clearly, exceedingly, they knew not this.
Doth ye not know? I mean, isn't that why would they change it to know ye not?
That's the least of our problems with this passage, honestly.
I tend to build lists. I'm sorry. That he is to be a ruler over you. That's the perfect thing to say to the guy who's whipping you with a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the baby brother's going to rule over you. And this because of your iniquities. Behold, again, ye shall go up to Jerusalem again, and the Lord will deliver Laban into your hands. Well,
this
the Lord
time
didn't
sure.
do a
Save
really
the
good.
Lord. Huh?
The Lord didn't do a really good job the first couple of times.
Yeah, there's been some miscommunications and whatnot. Yeah. Thrusting out and such.
And after the angel had spoken unto us, he spoke unto us. He departed. Wonder how he departed.
Which, by the way, is so much better than when the angel departs before he's spoken to you.
So he magically appeared, and he started speaking this nonsense, then he magically teleported to another dimension. Okay.
I need to know better than to be drinking
yes.
at all during this show. I almost drowned when you made me laugh right there. Falling down. Okay. And after the angel had spoken unto us, he departed. And after the angel had departed, because we have to be that redundant, Laman and Lemuel again began to murmur. Fucking angels.
Murmurs.
What are the angels now? Saying, how is it possible that the Lord will deliver Laban into our hands? Behold, he is a mighty man, and he can command 50. Yeah. Yeah. Even he can slay 50. And then why not us?
Oh, they of little faith. Ugh.
Yeah. God's really, really good at killing people.
Right. That's what he does best.
Apparently God has a kink for it, so
it's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's also his favorite fetish too, so
Maybe they're worried that that Laban isn't a baby because God seems to be best at killing babies. But
All right, now am I getting on to chapter 4 now?
How long is chapter 4? What time is it now? Let's see. That's 2 solid pages, and it's gonna take us 1 hour for every 2 verses, apparently. So let's see.
Well, then let me just say this. I knew that this would be a fun time when I effectively ask a bunch of comedians to help me host this show. But in this case, all the humor has come from the fucking book.
Absolutely.
The book itself is a comedian.
I know it's just I'm sure it's just me, but this is a really stupid book so far.
I mean, I'm tempted to go power through just so we can get to the nice violence part and the smiting.
I could.
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna power through.
Yeah.
Chapter 4. Everybody recite after me. You know what's coming. Sing along. And it came to pass that I spake unto my brethren, saying, let us go up again unto Jerusalem, and let us be faithful in keeping the commandments of the Lord.
Not
for
like
behold,
last time.
Wow. The last couple.
This time for sure. Anyway.
It's always the third time the charm, right? In all of these jokes. Right. Okay, for behold, he is mightier than all the earth. Laban is mightier than all the earth?
No, Lord. The Lord is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Commandments of the Lord. For behold, he is mightier than all the earth. Then why not mightier than Laban and his 50? Yeah. Or even than his tens of thousands.
He's got tens of thousands now.
Mm-hmm. So Laban has become Saruman.
Yeah, right.
Therefore, let us go up. Let us be strong like unto Moses. Because you have to be like unto Moses, not just like Moses, like unto Moses. For he truly spake unto the waters of the Red Sea, and they divided hither and thither. Does Joseph Smith not understand the meaning of hither and thither?
Apparently not.
Hither and thither. Yeah.
Don't blame Joe. He's translating with the spirit and power of God.
Oh, you got the wrong Joe here. So
that's right.
God
said, no, make it hither and thither. Yes.
Is this the part where we're getting dictation from the angel moron?
This whole thing is nothing but that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When an angel comes to you and says, my name is Moroni, don't believe anything he tells you after that. And our fathers came through out of captivity on dry ground, and the armies of Pharaoh did follow and were drowned in the waters of the Red Sea. Now, behold, as if you haven't been beholding enough, ye know that this is true. Actually, I know that it's not. And ye also know that an angel hath spoken unto you. Wherefore can ye doubt? How do we know that was an angel?
Yeah.
I just want to wait. Let's point out the obvious that just happened. And yeah.
Let us go up. The Lord is able to deliver us, even as our fathers, and to destroy Laban, even as the Egyptians. Even as the Egyptians.
Yeah.
Now, when I had spoken these words, they were yet wroth. They were yet wroth, not still wroth. They were yet wroth, and did still continue to murmur.
That's the book of murmurers is what it is. God. Honestly, how are you still wroth after the angel shows up? It's like, oh yeah, I forgot the angel Lord did show up.
Wouldn't you be? You find out your pissant little brother is going to be in command of you, and this is because of some stranger that shows up.
I mean, it's a story of Joseph all over again. I mean, the whole thing, chapter and verse, no pun intended. Yeah.
Nevertheless, they did follow me up until we came without the walls of Jerusalem. Sorry. I know that he means to say that they're just standing outside of the walls of Jerusalem, but it's there did you came without the walls of Jerusalem? What? I thought you had them.
I left him with the brass plate. Oh.
You forget everything.
Apparently, they have a very bad memory. Don't you agree?
You forgot our ID. You forgot the walls of Jerusalem. And it was by night.
Or
It was by night. And it was by night. Does that mean dusk? Does that mean they arrived in the dark?
Don't try to understand it.
Are they traveling by night? Because I understand what by night would mean in that sense.
Sure, that would make more sense.
Okay, and it was by night, and I caused that they should hide themselves without the walls. You forgot the walls again.
Honestly, it makes me wonder if there's like any Shakespearean experts or Elizabethan English guys who've gone through and said, yeah, that doesn't work in Elizabethan English. I'd love to know how many pseudo Elizabethanisms are in this book, because that sure feels like one.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it was because that they should have to hide themselves without the walls. And after they had hid themselves, I, Nephi, because I'm still Nephi.
Still Nephi.
I'm still talking and I'm still Nephi, crept into the city and went forth towards the house of Laban. And I was led by the Spirit, not knowing beforehand the things which I should do. Is this not the house that you were already in twice?
Right.
You were led by the Spirit to go someplace you already know where it is?
And by the way, Spirit, not invented yet. Anyway.
Yeah. Nevertheless, okay, I went forth, and I came near unto the house of Laban. I beheld a man, and he had fallen to the earth before me. He was drunken with wine.
Drunken.
how can you get drunk with wine?
No, not drunk.
Sense.
They hadn't invented the good hooch yet. That was the best that they had.
But who is
And when
this
I came to him
stranger in front of the house of Laban? Who is it?
and when I came to him, I found that it was Laban.
What? What are the odds?
I wonder how that happened.
Yeah. What a coincidence that you would find the guy drunk outside his own house.
It's getting better. We're getting to the good parts.
And I beheld his sword. Oh, we're getting back into that again.
Oh, his big long sword.
Shut up. I'm going to try to get through this, seriously, and not have to masturbate halfway through.
It's a whole different podcast.
And I drew it forth.
Oh my!
I am much older than middle school. I drew it forth from the sheath thereof. From the sheath thereof. Do you really have to say thereof? Right? From the sheath. We know what sheath it came from. And the hilt thereof was of pure gold, and the workmanship thereof again, was exceedingly fine. You don't need thereof.
Right.
I have the opinion that either Moroni or in this case maybe God is just a really poor writer. Clearly didn't pass the 4th grade.
If you're looking for efficiency of prose, you're not going to find it in here.
You go.
The workmanship thereof was exceedingly fine, and I saw that the blade thereof was of the most precious steel.
So you're saying the blade thereof, with the hilt thereof, and the sheath thereof, had exceedingly fine workmanship thereof, is what you're telling us.
Was made of the most precious steel.
And what's that funny word mean in 600 BC? Because not a lot of steel around in 600 BC. I believe it's just being invented in India in the 6th century now, and except for like some meteoric iron here and there. But he's walking around with a whole steel sword.
It's already contradicting itself again.
There is one sword that has been found from around this time in the area.
So apparently I'm late.
Yes.
Oh, hello. I didn't even notice you.
I thought we started at 3. I swear there's an email, and I'm realizing that I think it was David confirming time and must be in a different time zone that said 3 o'clock. Because Man, I waited in the waiting room.
Oh no!
For like 10 minutes because I was like, oh, I'm not going to show up at 2:48 and be before everybody else. And
Like
you guys have been going this whole time.
Oh,
something has happened.
Wherefore Jimmy came unto us and spake, saying,
okay, now I'm going to have to apologize to Jimmy. I'm going to have to check the email, but if I remember correctly, I was starting to say that it was going to be 2:00 Central Time, but then realized that I tend to put everything on my time, but nobody knows what Central Time is. Everybody knows what Eastern Time is. So I should change it to 3:00 Eastern because everybody knows that one.
It's my fault for not paying attention to who was writing the email because it was on Thursday. I've got it in front of me. On Thursday, David wrote, fair enough. Oh, he just says he has to work at 3. All I saw was 3 p.m. and that must have been when I set my alarm. When I was like,
when I was saying that, I was still thinking Pacific Time when he was thinking Central Time. So it's been a cluster.
So Jimmy Snow has such a wild nightlife that he has to set his alarm to get up at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Not to get up. I have to set alarms to do anything. If it's like, it doesn't matter what time of day, asleep or awake. If I don't set an alarm, I simply do not have the ability to keep track of my own schedule.
That might be I gotta say, your timing is perfect because we are at the most exciting part of First Nephi 4 right now, when he's pulled out the sword of Laban, and who knows what's going to happen next.
I was going to comment that you guys have been going an hour and you clearly made it past a whole chapter. So me being gone wasn't the worst thing that happened to this show.
Oh, you missed a lot of hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
Behold, wherefore Jimmy.
He knows what the story said, but the thing I didn't know what the story said. Yeah. I had to recap it 2 or 3 times, saying, "No, seriously, is that what it really just said?"
There are times where I wonder if Joseph wasn't fucking with people, where he's like, "There's no way I can't put that in; they won't believe that." Like,
and yet they do.
Yeah,
maybe I'll put just one more thereof in the sentence.
Can I put therefore and wherefore in the same sentence?
Yeah, we can't just call this the book of morons, right? No, let's just add a letter and then.
That's too much. That's too much. Yeah.
Okay, I've got some super chats. Before we go any further, let me run through because there's a lot here. Okay, so M. Ensign says, if the victim blaming in this verse were not enough, Mormons turned it into a song they teach to children. Start the indoctrination young. Yeah, and that was
very well.
Yeah, that was like 40 minutes ago for that one, and so I'm not keeping up very well. And then M. Ensign Science put a second note, says they needed the gold and silver and precious things so they could buy the sword of Laban. Now there's a Mormon legend to investigate.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. This is the first time we've seen the sword so far in the story.
Yeah. So the sword of Laban. No, I'm not mixing it. I was going to say, unless I'm mixing it up, the sword of Laban is like, it's one of their super treasures, and it's supposed to be buried with the plates, buried with the Urim and Thummim that they lie about being the way he interprets the thing. So presumably when he retrieves the plates, there would be basically Luke's lightsaber is the level of honor they would give that thing.
Yeah. And Brian, you said they have found steel swords this early? I heard like King Tut had meteor iron steel daggers. But
when I was working on my video about the steel swords in the Book of Mormon, I did find out that there is one steel sword found in the area from around this time.
In the area of the Near East.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because I do know they were
in the Levant. In the Levant,
they were starting to make that in India about this time.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot outside.
I have no idea when steel became a thing. I just know that
around this time. Right around.
Yeah, I have Norse ancestry, and I know that my forefathers didn't have a fucking clue what steel was.
Yeah.
Most people did not. Yeah, the whole Viking thing, those were all iron swords.
Yeah.
So anytime you hit somebody, the sword bent.
Yeah.
The amazing thing that we're going to find out just shortly is that they get to the new land and just immediately start working in all manner of metal, which is just
immediately
mind blowing, considering what it actually requires to make steel and to smelt. The whole process is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Somehow he has all this knowledge. He has all this knowledge to be able to, I mean, this is really high end knowledge for the time, but he just had to have it.
Yeah, Joseph Smith seemed to think they could just Swiss Family Robinson their way into all this. And it's like, no, there's like massive amounts of infrastructure that have to be in place to be able to do any of this, let alone making a steel mill.
Or at least MacGyver.
Yes, MacGyvering it all.
Yeah, MacGyvering, yeah. And needless to say, there is no archaeological evidence for any of this in the New World or the Old World this time either, for that matter.
Right.
I got a note from one of our moderators, Bucky the Beaver, says, for your own personal amusement, I found a Mormon nonprofit research center, and one of their papers breaks down how many times they say it came to pass in each book.
Oh,
yeah.
Then we have a note from Walker Ball, and says Lemuel Dufresne was the landlord to the Smith House family farm, and Lemuel Dufresne was the landlord to the Smith House family farm and kicked them out of their house due to no payments. That's an interesting bit of trivia.
That is funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And then I see the note from Bucky the Beaver that says, you don't have to read my statement out loud.
No, too late. Too late. You don't know what show you're on.
And then David Wilhelm says, either God doesn't know how English grammar works, or Reformed Egyptian has weird syntax.
I think that's probably the case.
And then Walker Bull again says Laban Walters, 1822 CE, befriends Lumen. It's Lumen Walters. Befriends Joseph Smith family as a fellow treasure digger, likely the inspiration for the character Laman in the Book of Mormon. Okay.
Never piss off an author, because you will show up in their books.
Yeah.
Or a comedian, which is why you're all my friends. You guys do any stand-up, I'm not going to be featured. Okay, so let me see.
We just saw the sword, the mighty sword thereof.
Is it them or is it the Jaredites, Brian? Brian, do you remember it's them or the Jaredites that established the Valley of Nimrod? Speaking of things that sound like Joseph fucking with people.
I want to say that's the Jaredites. By the way, the Jaredites also have steel.
Yeah, right.
In like so far so long before steel is actually invented in the old world and made, somehow they have steel. It's just impressive.
I believe they also
known
have
for
silk.
three things.
I believe they also have silk too. Yeah.
They have steel. They have long sandwiches and short eyes. The Jaredites.
The Jaredites.
And honeybees that they brought on their submarines. I can't wait to get to Ether, and it's like one of the last books. And rightly named, by the way.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Here we go.
And it came to pass that I was constrained by the Spirit that I should kill Laban. Constrained by the Spirit that I should kill Laban.
I don't know.
But I said in my heart, because that's where you talk.
Yeah.
Never at any time have I shed the blood of a man, and I shrunk, and would that I might not slay him, but wouldn't that I might. But wouldn't that I might.
Yes.
And the Spirit said unto me again, behold,
do it.
The Lord hath delivered him unto thy hands.
He's just sitting there. Do it.
And I also knew that he had sought to take away mine own life. Yeah. And he would not hearken unto the commandments of the Lord. And he also had taken away our property.
He must die.
The property just bragged in the last chapter, the chapter before, about abandoning to go live in the woods.
Bingo. Oh, we covered that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And it came to pass.
Well, real quick, I want to throw in the fucked up thing is this is like the story of Laban is probably one of the first stories that Mormon kids learn. It's taught as like this is how great Nephi was. He was going to go and do the things that the Lord commanded, knowing the Lord would deliver away. And this person who spent the first chapter talking about like I'm a kid, but I'm a big kid,
exceedingly big,
was happy to murder a defenseless drunk. But we've already sort of demonized drunks in your mind, so you don't think of them as a human.
Right.
This story is so much darker in practice than it already is dark in print. So it's a little context.
Yeah.
It's
and just the picture of the Holy Spirit, who hasn't been invented yet, whispering in his ear, "Come on, do it, kill it, do it,
just do it. Come on, bro.
Do it, Nephi."
By the way, this is one of the stories that the Lafferty brothers referred to when they killed what's her name? I can't remember the girl's name.
The mother and the baby.
Yeah, the mother and the baby.
Brenda.
That's talked about in Banner of Heaven, the book and the movie.
Brenda Lafferty.
Brenda Lafferty, yeah.
Nathaniel Gray gave $2 a super chat, so thank you for that, and also commented, "So God is the shoulder devil."
Right, right, exactly how I pictured it too.
Cool.
Which shoulder, left or right?
This is a sort of reverse Isaac situation. It's like, oh man, I guess I have to kill him, and you're like waiting for God to stop you. You're like, here I go.
Here, I'm gonna do it. No.
Or should I not? Which one?
This time, Holy Ghost is like, nah, for real, though. Do it this time. Go.
And it came to pass that the Spirit said unto me again, "Slay him, for the Lord hath delivered him unto thy hands.
Look, he's
slay
just
him
right
and slay him and take your father's place at my
side." I love that it's Emperor Palpatine.
Behold, the Lord slayeth the wicked to bring forth his righteous purposes.
God would do it. God would slay him.
It is better that one man should perish than that a nation should dwindle and perish in unbelief.
Oh, no way that
now,
dogma can backfire on us. Yeah.
They're bragging about one of God's worst traits. Like I could hear Donald Trump praying about this or bragging about the same thing. Like, okay, I'm always slaying. It's my righteous purpose. Okay.
We love the smiting, don't we, folks? Yeah.
It's for my look.
Oh yeah, it's the best. Believe it.
You shouldn't have perished in unbelief. That's your fault. I take no responsibility for your sin.
I hardly knew that person.
The Spirit constrained me to do it. What could I do? I was constrained.
What could I do?
I didn't do anything.
And now, when I, Nephi, because I have to keep reminding you that I'm Nephi. Whenever I say me, you got to know it's me. I'm Nephi. I'm the one who's still talking. When I, Nephi, had heard these words, I remembered the words of the Lord. The guy who was just talking to me a second ago, I remembered those words because that was a second ago. Which he spake unto me in the wilderness, saying that inasmuch as thy seed shall keep my commandments, they shall prosper in the land of promise. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also thought they could not keep the commandments of the Lord according to the law of Moses, save that they should have the law. What?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also knew that the law was engraven upon the plates of brass.
You see, I had to do it. He had those brass plates.
The funny
and all
thing
my
is,
stuff. Yeah.
the Book of Mormon, as far as like behavior of the people and stuff, there are so few references to ever suggest anybody in the Book of Mormon is ever living by the law of Moses, except for occasionally references to like, and so we killed them because they weren't living the law of Moses. But there's very, very little to suggest that Joseph really kept track of that detail.
And again, I knew that the Lord had delivered Laban into my hands for this cause, that I might obtain the records according to his commandments.
That's worth murder. Sure.
Yeah.
But if you kill the drunk outside of his house, and you already know that he has a bunch of servants who are certainly capable of killing you,
Yep.
is the drunk going to have your ID on him? Is he going to have your genealogy written, engraved in brass? Is he going to have that on him when he's drunk outside of his house?
I think what's more important is in the next two verses, pay attention to what order the next events happen.
What he said. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Therefore, I did obey the voice of the Spirit and took Laban by the hair of the head. Well, I'm glad he specified that it was by the hair of his head. I thought we were going to be talking about circumcision there for a moment. And I smote off his head with his own sword. And after I had smitten off his head with his own sword, I took the garments of Laban and put them on mine own body. They were all obviously red by now.
Right?
Yeah. Even every whit. And I did gird on his armor about sorry. I'm so glad I haven't had a drop of alcohol today. And I did gird on his armor about my loins.
But so the order reason I brought up is kind of what you said about it being red. Somehow he cuts off the head of Laban without spilling a drop of blood off themselves. Then he I'm just saying, if this guy is so drunk, you can pick him up by his hair and cut his head off. Take his clothes first.
Yeah, or maybe use the blunt end of the sword. That'll probably do the job at this point, right?
Yeah.
Beat him with the pommel and he's out. So, and after I had done this, I went forth into the treasury of Laban, because you dressed like the guy. He walked out. Right. He's wearing armor.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I went forth towards the treasury of Laban, behold, I saw the servant of Laban, who had the keys of the treasury. And I commanded him in the voice of Laban that he should.
So he was able to make an impression of Laban's voice. Okay.
Yes.
Probably
not. He did every whit of it. Yes.
But he had one of those little things that you put on the throat in the Mission Impossible.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess maybe Laban has one of those distinctive voices. You walk up to a servant, give me the keys.
Jimmy, do your Gilbert Godfrey. That's what Laban sounded like.
I was going to say, it's a little known fact. Nephi was kind of the Jeff Dunham of that era. He had his voice around. It was that's what he did for work before they, retreated to the wilderness. So
open the treasury.
Go get my treasure. Oh wait, no, Gilbert's more. I can't tell the screen, but yeah.
Okay. And I commanded him in the voice of Laban that he should go with me into the Why would you take him with you? Give me the fucking keys and go turn around.
This is the part of the story that is truly the most unbelievable. And for some reason, I didn't think about it until I left the church, where it's like, okay, it's Laban's servant. The guy knows him. The guy's talking about being large in stature. Let's say their statures match.
Okay. That's a good point too.
If I hired a cleaning service, I imagine by the third time they're here, somebody can't just put on my clothes and gain entry to my house. Like, right. Brian, we should try this out. Brian, you come down to Texas. I'll give you my clothes, and you see if a cleaning crew lets you just get down. Like,
I'll get some. I'll dye my beard and stuff. And
oh yeah.
We'll see if
Of
that
course I'm Aaron. I'm wearing Aaron's shirt.
Right. Exactly.
And I sound just like him.
He's like Arya Stark right now. Became a in the voice of Laban. I love the idea that like he's actually like 10 years old and all these clothes are like draping off of him and the servant's just humoring him. It's like, okay, I'll go get you the plates. But he actually gave him some like, I don't know, communist propaganda. That'd be cool.
Okay. And he supposed me he supposed me to be his master, Laban.
Ish.
For he beheld the garments and also the sword girded about my loins.
Didn't look at my face once.
This must be he must be wearing one of those helmets with like the whole, but then how would he recognize the drunk?
Yeah.
These are all good questions. Yeah.
Okay, and he spake unto me concerning the elders of the Jews, he knowing that his master Laban had been out by night among them. Oh, so we got a statement about the Jews because he's drunk.
Yeah.
Lying face down in the street.
Yeah.
Okay. And I spake unto him as if it had been Laban. And I also spake unto him that I should carry the engravings which were upon the plates of brass to my elder brethren who were without the walls.
Sounds legit.
Because they forgot the walls again. They were without the walls.
They are wall free.
I'm still on verse 21 trying to figure out why he needs to mention that the sword is next to his dick. I guess you could have back mounted the sword, but of course, like, yeah, obviously it's girded about your loins, you freak.
Something to do with circumcision, maybe. I don't know.
I have a feeling he didn't say, "Hey, my eyes are up here," or would have given them.
I see you looking at my sword and lusting after it. Okay, so and he supposing that I spake of the brethren of the church, and that I was truly that Laban whom I had slain.
We know who you are.
Wherefore he did
fooled from that.
Okay, I'm just looking at the syntax of the sentence, and he supposing that I spake of the brethren of the church, and that I was truly that Laban whom I had slain. Wherefore he did follow me.
Let me pause for just a second. Church? What's that funny word mean? Churches aren't been invented yet. They won't be invented until the late 1st century.
Yeah. Again, contradicting itself. As usual.
The constant reminder of who. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, not Laban. I know I'm dressed like him. And you guys are all probably fooled right now, but I'm not Laban. I'm still
Laban, who is dead because I slew him.
And I had to fuck his wife. I'm sorry.
There was an episode of Superman starring George Reeves, the old TV show.
Yeah.
Where George Reeves as Superman puts on Clark Kent's glasses.
Yeah.
And they recognize him as Clark Kent to ask him why he's dressed as Superman.
Yeah, that's pretty much this. Yeah.
And it's like when Bruce Wayne in the old Batman TV series, the campy one, when he calls the Commissioner Gordon on not the red phone, he calls him on the regular phone.
Yes.
And Commissioner Gordon says, "Batman, why are you calling on this phone? This is the phone that Bruce Wayne usually uses." That seems to be what's going on here.
He's making connections.
And it came to pass that when Laman saw me, he was exceedingly frightened. And also Lemuel and Sam.
I keep forgetting about Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't forget about Sam because he ends up saving the movie at the end.
Well, wait. We skipped verse 27, didn't we? Where the servant is just following him wherever he goes to talk shit about the Jews. Did we skip that?
And he followed him all the way. I read that, but didn't even catch that the servant is still following him when he went forth unto his brethren.
Yeah.
He's still got the servant with him.
Yeah.
Why is he still there?
Wait, don't mind this naked Laban, naked headless Laban on your front doorstep that you have to step over. Just ignore that.
But also,
We're not done with the servant, though. We're not done with the servant. Let's keep going.
this is the guard of the treasury. So you go in and you get the plates, and the servant of the treasury is like, hey, anyway, I'm going to hang out with you. And it's like,
Yeah.
stay here. I have more than the plates here. All my gold, all my stuff. It's like, nah, nobody's been around all night. Just you, who is clearly Laban. So I'm
And I can tell because of the sword girded on your loins.
looking right at your dick. It's obviously you.
Clearly Laban. Yeah.
Let's hang out.
Okay. So when it came to pass that when Laman saw me, he was exceedingly frightened, and also Lemuel and Sam, and they fled from before my presence. Good thing they didn't flee after my presence.
Mm-hmm.
For they supposed it was Laban, and that he had slain me, and had sought to take away their lives too. And it came to pass that I called after them, and they did hear me, wherefore they did not cease to flee from my presence. And it came to pass that when the servant of Laban beheld my brethren, he began to tremble, and was about to flee from before me and return to the city of Jerusalem. And now I, Nephi, because I'm Nephi, remember? I've been Nephi this whole time.
Not Laban, guys.
Not Laban.
I just fooled my brothers. Their minds are blown. I'm nailing this cosplay. I'm Nephi, not Laban.
Uh-oh.
Being a man large in stature,
You know you're big.
and also
Okay.
having received much strength of the Lord, therefore I did seize upon the servant of Laban and held him, that he should not flee.
A
Oh, how
gentle
adorable.
spooning.
And I reminded him about
Gird
the sword girded about my loins.
You like that? You like that sword? Yeah.
I'm just happy to see you.
Few things sound as painful as gird in my loins.
And it came to pass
Of course.
that I spake with him, that if he would hearken unto my words, as the Lord liveth, and as I live, even so, that he would hearken unto our words, we would spare his life.
Mm.
And I spake unto him, that I just spoke unto him, even with an oath, that he need not fear, that I just chopped his boss's head off. That he should be a free man like unto us, if he would go down. I mean,
Go on.
In the woods.
Phrasing, hard phrasing.
Let's head
In any
forward.
way, this
Go
is
down.
not suspicious. We will protect you. But
if he
this
would go down,
not suspicious.
if he would go down in the wilderness with us.
Again, this is not suspicious or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go down.
And I also,
This means Nephi doesn't shave his pubes. Just so making sure we get the.
I'm reminded of the time that Michael told Tobias he needed to get a recorder and just listen to it for a bit.
Forgive me, I just blew myself, and it came. To that.
and I also spake unto him, saying, surely the Lord hath commanded us to do this thing. And shall we not be diligent in keeping the commandments of the Lord? Therefore, if thou wilt go down into the wilderness to my father, thou shalt have place with us.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass that Zoram
Who?
did take courage at the words which I spake.
Yeah, amazing how convincing it can be when you're holding somebody down and tell them, if you listen to me, I won't kill you. amazing how compelling that turns out to be.
Yeah, just come with me into the heart of your enemies,
Yeah.
so that we're all surrounding you, and then I promise you'll live.
It'll be good.
We'll
Yeah,
just go into
and
the wilderness. It'll be fun. Come on.
And another thing about how shitty God writes, and it came to pass that Zoram did take courage at the words which I spake. Oh, did I forget to tell you that Zoram was the name of the servant? I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, my bad.
And he promised, and that's going to be the name of my next kid, by the way, Zoram. And he promised that he would go down into the wilderness unto our father.
I bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet he will. Yeah.
And he also made an oath unto us that he would tarry with us from that time forth. Help me out with tarry.
Well,
Does that mean he's going to carry shit?
Hang out. Hang out, basically. It's just hang out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Technically, like, while the main characters of the book are Nephites and Lamanites, there are a few other groups, but they all kind of get absorbed. So on the Lamanite side, there's also Lemuelites. On the Nephi side, there's going to be Jacobites. I don't think there were Samites, but there are also Zoramites and Ishmaelites, I think.
Okay, and this guy is going to tarry, which I guess means he's a terrier.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's set up as an important character that is almost never brought up ever again. Really important. It's fucking weird.
And he did tarry with us from that time forth.
Yeah.
Now, we were desirous. Okay, so that opens a new envelope into their relationship. We were desirous that he should tarry with us for this cause.
Tarry with us. Yeah. Okay.
That the Jews might not know concerning our flight into the wilderness, lest they should pursue us and destroy us. Why exactly would the Jews say, oh, those people are leaving?
Yeah.
Let's go kill them for leaving.
Yeah. Look, I lived in New York. Most of my unofficial aunts and uncles were Jews, and they were very excited when the real estate prices went up because the shitty people left. That's all I'm saying. By the way, my family were the shitty people, but
I got that from the context of your tale.
oh yeah.
Now, we were desirous that he should tarry with us for this cause. Okay, blah, blah. And it came to pass that when Zoram had made an oath unto us, our fears did cease concerning him. Well, yeah, of course. And it came to pass. I've got to do something special for reading that line. That we took the plates of brass and the servant of Laban and departed into the wilderness and journeyed unto the tent of our father. We journeyed unto.
So they were without the tent of their father, you're saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm proud of us. That's two chapters we got through this.
My goodness.
I have to take a nap now.
It's a lot. I'm trying to remember
a lot.
if Zoram is the one who, because while we're making jokes that it's all for them to bone, it kind of is though, because I think Zoram is the one whose daughters, basically the whole reason Zoram joins is for Nephi and his brothers to have someone to fuck.
Yeah.
There you go. Terry with yes.
Yeah. Jimmy, thank you for showing up.
Just in time. Just in time.
Yeah, I mentioned early on in the show that I was upset that you weren't here because I thought you were a rock star on this thing. The last couple times you got a whole lot of information on this that I value.
I'm apparently chopped liver, but
yeah,
no.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
And
Brian and David did murmur to themselves.
I
to Aaron,
completely
saying,
agree,
"Hey,
Brian.
wherefore hast thou exalted Jimmy?"
I've pretty much run out of voices. My value's up by chapter 5 or 6. I mean,
That's where it gets boring.
I did Trump
Yeah.
today. I think my last one I have left is Stewie Griffin. So I did
I mean, for fuck's sake, I brought the original Book of Mormon for.
Oh no!
Which you said you've got the original?
It's a replica. They put this out in 1980 because 1980 was 150 years from the original publishing date. So the sesquicentennial thing, and they put this out. And I don't think they thought it through. Because if you actually read it, it is worse. You know, David is absolutely right. It's absolutely worse. They've made a lot of changes in the grammar. Like the grammar that we're reading is so much better.
Yeah,
That's the frightening thing, Aaron.
That's hard for me to believe. That's harkening me back to the Monty Python line. Worse? How could it be any worse?
Maybe next time you can give us some examples of like where the syntax is even more tortured and
yeah, I'll try to figure something out.
This was bad.
This was bad.
The last two chapters, what we read today, these were awful.
Oh, it's horrible all the way through. It's the reason why no Mormon ever gets past Second Nephi.
Yeah, I got one question before we close this up. I have a vague memory that Joseph Smith's wife, like he wrote all this stuff down from wherever he got it, and that suddenly she vanished it away somewhere.
But you think of Martin Harris's wife?
That's Martin Harris. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so she said, "Well, you copied it once, copy it again."
Right.
And somehow he copies entirely different text.
Well, that's deliberate because the Lord was piffed with it, cheesed off at him for allowing it to fall into the hands of the woman. And if I remember correctly, and Jimmy and Brian, tell me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the rationale is like, well, he can't give you the same story because it could have fallen into the devil's hands by now.
Yeah.
And therefore we'll have to give you some other story, which is basically the same, only
it's now he's translating from a whole different set of plates.
Right. That's that
so that
coverage.
That's like when in Exodus 34, when God says, "I'll write the 10 Commandments again, and I'll write exactly the words that were on there before, except that they'll all be completely different."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian,
so
I wanted to ask Brian, 2 Nephi 36 in that original, does it still end with white and delightsome, or did that one actually?
I'm sure it did. It's very hard to find stuff because, I mean, you're not going to be able to see it, but there are no verses.
Right.
In the original thing, it's just written like a normal novel.
Right. Funny. So it even looked less like the King James version.
Yes. And then the paragraphs are much longer.
They recently got rid of white and delightsome, but it still existed back in the 90s and I think early 2000s. But then
how could they get rid of it?
They changed it to pure and delightsome.
Yeah.
They got rid of white specifically. So I'm just wondering if the original just like says something crazy like, and they were straight up Caucasian now.
Or this is a victory for white life.
Yeah. And it came
that one this week, right?
And it came to pass that I spake unto the multitude, all lives matter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so I learned a lesson with the last show. We just did a Bible, another Blasphemers Bible lesson, and the lesson I learned was that after we ended the show, we were still doing some banter with the panel after that, and they were dropping so many truth bombs, nuggets of wisdom, and hilarious jokes and stories that I realized I'm not going to do this again. There was gold in that post-show discussion that needs to be broadcast. So I am not going to sit around and be social when we end this because y'all are fucking golden.
Thank you.
Especially Jimmy.
But you're Mr. Deity.
He never gets any credit anyway, so that's that works.
You're doing another Mr. Deity, aren't you?
Murmur.
I assure you, myself.
I actually have a couple of ideas for bringing back Mr. Deity that I'm working on. I don't know if they're going to pan out. I'm still playing with it a little. I might do a little Mr. Deity shorts with like text between Larry and Mr. Deity and you know, little things like that. But I have a way to bring him back that kind of fits nicely with the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of thing.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, in all honesty, that was a brilliant series that you did. I loved it. My son came up with. We were on a road trip, and my son starts like talking about the story where you're God, and he was casting me to be Odin, and my son just like off the top of his head rattles off this hysterically funny shit. And I'm like, we're all in the car on this road trip laughing our asses off at everything that he says, but then we can't remember a word of it when it's time to write something down. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So, or maybe we sobered up. One or the other.
Yeah. One of the two.
All right, anyway, I'm going to be what I mentioned in the last show is it on the 15th through the end of the month. I'm going to be off grid. I'm going to be out in the wilderness, so to speak, and
down in the wilderness.
Down unto.
You're down unto the wilderness.
Down unto therefore in the wherefore the wilderness. Path without walls.
And what will you be girding about your loins?
In the wilderness thereof.
And what will you lust after?
Wait, is this Aaron? He hasn't reminded me who he is in a while.
Wherefore I, Aaron. Yeah. Will gird my revolver about my loins as I wander into the wilderness. But anyway, so I won't, because of that, the only way that I can do 2 of the Book of Mormon, 2 of these Bible lessons in the month of July is if I do them back to back in the first 2 weekends. So everybody good for 1 week from today, again, starting 2 o'clock Central, 3 Eastern.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, and that did turn out to be noon for David and Dalton.
Yeah.
11 for me. It was 11 for me.
It was 11 for you.
We are many times. Yes. All the time zones.
I'm all the way on the West Coast.
Okay.
Aaron, I do have something to dampen the mood because David asked for a came to pass counter, which is currently on 39. But Bucky has informed me that there is a chapter where there are 400 came to passes.
Whoa.
If we get to that chapter, because I have to do that manually, I will send you an email asking for a raise, if that's okay.
400.
Yeah, I can give you I can give all my volunteers a 500% raise.
Wow.
Anyway, I hope to see you guys, all of you, most appreciated. 1 week from today.
It will come to pass.
It will come to pass.
Thank you also for our moderator. Thank you also for the producer. Thank you for everybody that tuned in to view this. I mean, we're over 300 people viewing right now, and this has been a bucket of chuckles. I mean, I laughed my ass off today.
Can we say thank you to Zoram? Nobody ever thanks Zoram.
Vegetarian.
I'm going to start saying that as a phrase. Thanks, Zoram.
No one thought to make the joke, and Laban came to pass out.
For whatever reason,
Okay,
that thing
good
about
one.
Zoram reminds me that I had a friend who was applying for a job at McDonald's back in the day, and they asked him this question like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And he thought it was pretty pathetic that if you're applying for McDonald's, it's not like you're really concerned about your future, right? And so he says, "Well, in 5 years, well, I expect like maybe move up to the French fry machine, and then eventually." 5 years from now, he says, eventually 5 years from now, I will become Zoltar, Lord of the Underkingdom. Come with me. You will be my favorite.
Oh, man.
He didn't get the job. Anyway,
That's right.
I'm out. Thank you, everyone. Let's close this up and see you again next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah.